Good evening, everyone. You're in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Thursday, February the 7th, 2019. Good to have you all here for our second of two shows this week. Really quickly before we start, couple of things. First of all, we are on the air late. We had some issues. There was an update issue with my computer, but also there is some weather issues tonight. The wind is kind of whipping around this area pretty good. So if we have further technical problems, that is the reason why. So you might notice the stream is lagging. If we cut in and out too, that's the reason why. So just be aware of that. We'll just do the best we can here tonight. That's the high wind's one of the worst things because it really does for a stream. So, and as you can see, I'm doing this again from my living room area. I just thought it would be better to do that. So, I think it helps with when in this kind of situation. It's not good for aesthetically, but it seems to help with this kind of weather situation. So that's why I'm doing it from here. So just wanted to note that off the top as to why we're late and also why we might be having further issues tonight. So just be aware of that. With that being said, before I get to any further announcements or anything else that we have to talk about, as we get going here, let me remind you all of the ways in which you can interact and contribute to our show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember to use the hashtag ITSpotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding our show. And as always, you can find us on Facebook. Just search In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure that you like our fan page so you can interact with us and all that good stuff. All right, and then know what's going on with the show. Of course, that's important as well. All right, so this is our second of two shows this week. A couple of things. I told you on Tuesday what we're going to do today. We did have a schedule change. Tonight was supposed to be the In the Spotlight Film Awards. We moved those to Tuesday. So those will air on Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday, we'll have the 9th annual In the Spotlight Film Awards. That will be the entire show. We'll announce the winners you all voted for at the beginning of the show. We will unveil the live award nominees, so you can vote on those throughout the awards on Tuesday, and we'll reveal those winners right before we announce the winner of the biggest award of the night, Best Picture. So for those of you new to this, it's one of our bigger shows of the year, so it's always a good time. And to those that have been here before while we've done this, you know how cool it is and how fun it is. So we look forward to Tuesday, and that will be our only show of next week. So please be aware that we will not have a show next Thursday because of Valentine's Day. So just be aware of that. Now, I had said that with us moving the show to Tuesday, that meant that on tonight's show we'd have to do a little bit more in the way of stuff that we usually do. Meaning that, since we can't do a box office beat next week, we're going to do a double edition tonight. Tonight we're going to do our first edition of the college basketball Bubble Watch. We will not have a Bubble Watch segment next week because we won't have the time. Obviously, any big sports things that come up next week, we won't have the time to discuss. We'll have to wait till the next week, which is fine. We can do that. So we're going to try to fit in anything that we think we know ahead of time that we would do next week tonight, so that we don't get too far behind. One of those things is WWE Elimination Chamber. Now, my initial thinking was right. I thought that Elimination Chamber was a week from Sunday. I was right. I had read information that indicated to me that it might be on the 25th of February. I was wrong on that. It is not on the 25th of February. It is next Sunday. So the problem is that with us only having one show next week, and that being the Film Awards, we can't do an Elimination Chamber preview show for WWE next week. So what we're going to have to do is tonight we're going to do kind of like just a quick preview of Elimination Chamber. Now, they haven't announced all the matches that are going to be on the card. You figure to be more matches added to the card. So really all we can do is preview the matches that we have. And of course, I'm the only one doing the show, so that's all you're going to get is my perspective. It sucks, but what are you going to do? Okay, it's just the way it is, but the time schedule and the way we change things up. So I apologize. Obviously, we will talk about Elimination Chamber in full after it happens, so you at least get that from us. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to do it this way, and I feel bad, but what can you do? So you'll get that tonight as well. That'll be the only wrestling stuff that we do tonight. So you get Elimination Chamber preview. We will have a double edition of the Box Office Beat tonight. We will have our first college basketball Bubble Watch, which we can't really do a double edition of, but we'll do a good substantial segment on. And whatever we don't cover next week, we'll have to cover the week after, and we'll just be missing a week, so that's okay. We got some NBA trade deadline stuff. The trade deadline has come and gone. We'll kind of sum it up and see who made the big deals and who didn't. There will not be TV highlights tonight. I have not gotten a chance to get to a lot of things with all the stuff that's been going on with the film awards and that. So I didn't put that in the show description tonight because I just don't think I don't think we'll have the time, and I haven't gotten anything. So again, that's kind of why I've been doing it. I did it last Tuesday because if I couldn't get to anything, Mike would. So we didn't have a chance to get to it this Tuesday. So we'll have to table that segment until 2 weeks from tonight, and by that point, I think I would have had a chance to get to things with the film awards done and everything. Plus, I think I'll have more time. So no TV highlights tonight. And a lot of people, I didn't mention that we talk about the TCAs and kind of talk about what some of the big stories out of TCAs were. So I might touch on that really quickly. Not as much stuff went on at the TCAs as I thought. So maybe at the end of the show, I'll just kind of throw a few things out there that I thought were the most interesting, and then we'll leave it at that. So I can't really, I thought there'd be more, so I thought we could do like a full deal on it, but there really isn't that much, so no need to do much about it. So you'll get a little bit of that tonight as well. So that's what's coming up tonight. Obviously, the film awards on Tuesday. No show next Thursday. The week after that, we're back with 2 shows, and we'll do that right up until the first week of the NCAA tournament. So that's what's going to be coming up here on the show. Really quickly, though, before we begin, I want to acknowledge the passing of Frank Robinson, who passed away today at the age of 83. Frank Robinson was a brilliant baseball man. He was the first African-American manager. He was obviously a Hall of Fame player as well. And, really, if you think about Frank Robinson's career, the first thing that comes to mind is his longevity, because he was able. I mean, first of all, he stayed in the game for a very long time, both player and manager, obviously, and he was on the. When you think about Frank, he played for the Reds for the first, I think, 9-10 years of his career, and that was during a time. I mean, that was obviously very close to Kentucky. That was during a time when African American baseball players and athletes were still getting a lot of having a lot of problems in terms of being able to play without heckling, and so I mean that was still a very tumultuous time for them. But he played for 21 years. Career batting average of .294, almost 3,000 hits, 586 home runs, over 1,800 runs batted in. He had a managerial record of 1,065 and 1,100. Obviously, he managed the Expos for 4 years, National Expos, Nationals at the end. Yeah, and yes, I mean he didn't have his managerial career. I mean we can look at it's under 500, but still that's still a substantial. Good, it's a decent record for a manager, especially for the teams he was managing. But just a great man, and a no nonsense man. If you followed how he managed, you couldn't get away with nothing with him. He was just a hard-nosed manager, and just somebody that you respected, and just a guy that he's a loss. He's a loss. He's a loss. And for most of the last 20 years of his life, he was an honorary president of the American League. He was just a great man, and just wow, just again, this longevity, both as a player and as a manager, is just really what you're going to know. Obviously, he has Hall of Fame statistics in both ways, realms, but his longevity, to be in the game for that long, and to rack up the accolades that he did, just amazing what he's able to do. So Frank Robinson dies today at the age of 83, and our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to his family and his fans and his loved ones, and may he rest in peace. That is a true loss for baseball and sports in general. So I just wanted to note that here off the top of the show. So now we move on, and again, nothing's more important than what we just talked about, but we do move on to other topics and other things, and we will start off in the realm of sports with the NBA trade deadline. That's what we'll start off with today. And there was a bevy of deals today. Quite a few deals. I'm not gonna go over every deal. You had Nikola Mirotic traded from the Bucks to trade to the Bucks from the Pelicans as part of a 3-team trade. That was one move. Obviously, Anthony Davis didn't get moved. And now the Pelicans have said that they will let him play for the rest of the season. There's some talk they might let him sit because of all the distraction, but they're not. There were obviously some rumors about that maybe Kyrie Irving gets moved. He did not. So none of that happened. Marc Gasol was probably the biggest deal, and he goes to the Toronto Raptors. You had heard some talk that maybe Gasol and Conley would be traded. Conley stays, Marc Gasol goes. Toronto just got, well, Toronto's all in. You can see that. They're all in. We'll see what happens there, but they got a great defensive front line. They really do. What else? You saw Philly make the big move. God, I'm blanking on who they got. Gosh, I know who this player is too. I can see his face. Crap, I can't think of his name. I mean, obviously Philly traded Markelle Fultz today to the Magic. That was their former #1 pick. That was a huge move. Lakers got Muscala from the Clips for Beasley and Zubac. Knicks finally waived Enes Kanter today. Matthews joined Pacers, so that's some news that came out recently today. What else? Where is the name of that? Who got traded to the Sixers? That's driving me crazy. Oh, I hate that. I hate when I can't think. I'm trying to think of the name. It's driving me crazy. That's going to drive me crazy if I can't think of it. I mean, the Sixers did get James Ennis in a deal with the Rockets, but that's the player I'm thinking of. Oh, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris got traded to the Sixers in a 3-player deal with the Clippers, who are trying to get themselves prepared for the free agent period, which I thought was a great deal. I think the Sixers, really have the best trade deadline. Obviously, last week had the Porzingis Dallas thing, so they probably had the second best. But I think the Sixers had the best trade deadline, given what they got, and apparently they're going to re-sign Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Look, the Sixers, and I would say Toronto did too by going and get Gasol, because they're going all in this year too. So those 3 teams, Philly, I would say maybe Toronto and Dallas were the 3 that I thought had the best trade deadlines. Everybody else made a couple moves here and there, but generally speaking, I think those are the teams that won. But look, both Philly and Toronto have proven that they're all in. Dallas is building for the future. They're off to a great start there. We'll see how it plays out. But obviously, the big talk was obviously Porzingis got moved, and that happened very quickly. But in the last couple of days, a lot of stuff about Kyrie Irving, a lot of stuff about Anthony Davis. It was just going back to 2 weeks ago. Those deals don't get done. I think most of us thought that there was very little possibility that they did, because they're so intertwined. That's something that'd probably get done in summer if it does get done. And who knows? I think one thing that this trade deadline taught us, in addition to obviously the moves that did get made, but what it did tell us was that what we learned from it was, really what Anthony Davis' intentions are and what Kyrie Irving's might be. Because we all thought it was a foregone conclusion that he was staying with the Celtics after what he said in the offseason last year at that season ticket holder event. And now we don't think. Now it's there's a possibility, more than a possibility. I'd say it's very likely that he's not sticking to that, and that he is going to be a free agent. He will be out there. And what does Boston do with that? Do they make a move before that happens, or do they just let him go and that's it? So that makes things a little more interesting than we thought they were going to be. I didn't put this in the show description, but there's not as much as a trade deadline to discuss as I thought there might be. But since we're on the subject of how what didn't happen today will lead to what's going to happen in the summer. There's also the Kevin Durant situation. Now, for those that I didn't put this in the show description, but we should talk about it because it's important. Kevin Durant got into it with reporters yesterday. Basically, he got frustrated that, people keep asking him about free agency. He hadn't talked in, I think, over a week, and they asked him why he wasn't talking. They thought, some of the reporters thought it might be because of free agency and everything that's been going on. All the rumors that he might go to the Knicks. He got upset. He got frustrated. He goes, I just want to play basketball. I don't want to deal with this. I just want to play basketball. This is my job. That's all I want to do is play basketball and go home. So he doesn't want to talk about it. And I think then Steve Kerr's got to put out the fire saying, look, he's not in the mood to deal with this kind of stuff right now. First of all, what's obvious from this situation, no matter how stupid this sounds, is that the Warriors and Kevin Durant did not prepare for this. They did not think that they were going to get so inundated with questions about Kevin Durant's free agency. Now, look, to everybody but them, it's like, what the hell are you thinking? Because as the season goes on, these questions are going to become more and more prevalent, especially when it looks very likely that Kevin Durant is not going to stay with the Golden State Warriors, which it's looking more and more likely. Even if they win a title, it's looking likely that he's not going to stay there. Now, of course, he could swerve us all, because remember a few years ago when he was leaving Oklahoma City, I was told by somebody that I really truly trust, that has been a good source to me for NBA information, that he was staying put in Oklahoma City. And then I think, less than a week later, he went to the Golden State Warriors. So you just don't know with Kevin Durant. But I think if you read the tea leaves, you can see that there's a very high likelihood that he's going to go somewhere else. I think we can say he's not going to go to the Lakers because everything's said about LeBron, even though he took some of it back. But Sorry about that. My sound went off. I hope I didn't miss. You hope we didn't miss too much. But like I said, obviously Universal title not on the line at this particular show. So again, this is the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber match will be the main event. I think Daniel Bryan's going to retain here, but I think what this match is going to do is set up his WrestleMania program, which I do not think will be AJ Styles. I think this will set up AJ's program though. If you believe the rumors, the rumors have said that AJ will face Orton at WrestleMania. So I'm guessing that would be set up here. And Mustafa Ali and Samoa Joe already have a program, so I'm guessing that will be spotlighted here as well. So I think Daniel Bryan's program will no doubt be set up here. Unless this program involves somebody not in the match, then it won't be. This will be a good match. All good workers. They'll probably steal the show as it's just the main event. I'm thinking Daniel Bryan retains here. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Shocked. So Daniel Bryan to retain a great match. I think you'll see AJ Styles, Randy Orton set up. They'll probably continue Mustafa Ali, Samoa Joe, and you go from there. Those are all the matches we got right now. And I also mentioned some of the matches I think we'll have added and my thoughts on those. So that's all we can do. I know that's a quick preview. It only took like 5 minutes, but there's not much else we can do right now, like I said, because of the schedule situation and everything else. So I thought giving you something was better than nothing. So I apologize that we had to do it the way we did. Usually I would have done this on Tuesday with Mike, and then we would have more thoughts. But it is what it is. So, we'll do better for Fastlane, and we'll do better if we can do Fastlane. We'll do better obviously for WrestleMania too. So. But yeah, that's going to have to suffice for right now. So sorry to our wrestling fans for not giving you all the focus and the kind of segments you really deserve. But we have to do what we got to do. So yeah. Also, I know that there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of stuff out the last couple of days about like things like Randy Orton going to AEW. AJ Styles contract situation. This stuff we're gonna have to wait to talk about. I don't think Randy Orton's gonna go to AEW. I think it got misconstrued. He said that he would talk to them, and obviously he would. He's good friends with Cody Rhodes, but like I said, I don't think he'll go there. I think people are running with it because there's all this paranoia about AEW, and I don't think AJ Styles will either. But obviously, people are gonna think things as soon as you hear about contract renewals and stuff. So, but we'll talk more about that stuff as we go along. I don't think it's really worth talking about right now because it's all speculation anyway. But all right, so I just wanted to throw it out there. So that's all the wrestling stuff we're going to do tonight. I know that was quick again, but again, something my thinking is something's better than nothing, and I wish that we could do it the way we want to do it. But again, with the situation the way it is, we just can't schedule wise. But obviously, Elimination Chamber will take place a week from Sunday on the WWE Network, and we'll obviously talk about it in fall after it happens on the show after it happens next Sunday. So. All right, so that's all the wrestling stuff we got for you tonight. So we move out of that and we jump into entertainment. And we have a double edition of the box office beat to get to here. First, let's look back at last week's box office and see what transpired. And again, I told you all last weekend that it was going to be kind of a quiet week, and it was. Glass repeated as number one for the third straight week, which we all thought would happen. Only 9.5 million. Again, it's Super Bowl weekend. I told you it's a bad weekend historically at the box office. It ended up being worse than I even thought. Glass dropped 50% in its third week. 9.5 million. So this is probably the weakest weekend of the year. Again, no big releases, no nothing. It was all about the holdovers. So this is what you get. So 9.5 million for Glass. Staying put in second was the Upside with 8.6 million. Which is a pretty strong hold up of 27.3%. Last week's only new release, Miss Bawa, came in third with 6.8 million, which I guess isn't bad on a $15 million budget, but still obviously not great. And then everything else under 5 million. The closest to 5 million was Aquaman, which dropped from third to fourth with 4.8 million in its seventh week. And then again, everything else under 5 million, including some of the movies that have been getting a lot of traction because of the awards. Green Book, which came in sixth with 4.3 million. Because of Oscar buzz and everything, that's obviously helping it. Then everything else, all the other big awards movies this year were pretty low, all about under 2 million and lower. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was in fifth with 4.5 million, so that's too bad. It's not too bad. Last week's big flop, The Kid Who Would Be King, continued to struggle, 4.2 million, dropping 40%, so a huge loss there for Fox. Hey, they're being bought by Disney. It's you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so last week's box office, even worse than I thought it could be. And again, I told you all it would be a bad one weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend, so people's attention was divided. You pretty much lost all of Sunday. That left you with Friday and Saturday with no big new releases. What do you expect? Things changed though this weekend, and next week as well. You got 4 new releases this weekend. The first release and the biggest is the Lego Movie 2, the second part an animated film from Warner Bros. Opening in 4,303 theaters, obviously PG. Starring the voice talents of Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, Tiffany Haddish, and a whole host of others. This is going to do huge numbers, at least 60 million, more than likely more. I'll go 65 just to be just to go lower and be safe about it. But I could see it making more than that. It's definitely going to be number 1 this weekend. It's going to do huge numbers. And hang around very, very well through February, especially winter break and spring breaks and stuff coming up. The second biggest release this weekend is a comedy called What Men Want from Paramount, opening in 2,912 theaters, starring Taraji P. Henson, Tracy Morgan. Again, $20 million $20 million budget, R-rated. So that will hold it back. We're probably not expecting a lot from it. I could see it pulling in about 12, 13 million, maybe 15 tops. I don't see huge numbers coming from it. I could see it doing even lower, really, but for all the competition. The third biggest release this weekend is an action drama from Lionsgate, something called Cold Pursuit, opening in 2,600 theaters, R-rated, and starring Liam Neeson, Emmy Rossum, and Laura Dern. Liam Neeson obviously has done a huge numbers at the box office in action movies of late. This is getting a lot of talk. This is getting a lot of buzz because it's like a dramedy type deal. It's got a lot of comedy elements to it, so maybe more funnier than some of his action movies. Obviously, he's been in the news this week with some controversy. You'll see if that impacts. It didn't hurt Kevin Hart a couple weeks ago with all the Oscar controversy, but obviously, you wait if it doesn't do as well, then you know why. I still expect this. I mean, with older audiences, will play strong. I still expect this to play to maybe about it's probably going to be close to What Men Want. I could see it doing better than What Men Want, to be honest. I'll go around 15, 16 million. William's got enough star power to get it to that point. So, and the fourth release is The Prodigy, a horror film from Orion Pictures, opening in 2,530 theaters. Starring pretty much an unknown cast. R-rated, $6 million budget. Won't do huge numbers. Might pull in about 6.5, 7, 8 million. Probably get its budget back, and that's about it. Too many other movies out. And I don't think they expect much from it anyway. So all right. So for this weekend, before I get to next week, if we're doing a double edition, remember, let me give you all my numbers for this coming weekend. Lego Movie 2, clearly going to be number 1. We'll go 65 to 70 million. We'll probably do much better than, not much of it, but probably do better than that. I'm going to say second place, Cold Pursuit, because of Liam Neeson. Even if it ends up being a little low because of the controversy, I'll go about 15, 16 million. What Men Want, I'll go a little lower than I even said earlier. I'll go about maybe 11, 12 million. The Prodigy will go around, let's see, 7.5, 8 million, because I think Glass is going to drop below 7. So 7.5, 8 million. Glass probably around 6, 6.5. And I'll say the upside around 5 million, and everything else will be under 5 million, clearly based on what we saw last week. So, all right, so that's the story for this week. Now, what about next week? Now, next week's an interesting week because it's Valentine's week. Obviously, a big box office week. Now, it's interesting. Valentine's Day falls on a Thursday, so you have one release. We'll have the whole sneak preview Wednesday, actually opening on Thursday. Actually, you got 3 releases two releases on Wednesday, and then you have a sneak preview release on Wednesday and open on Thursday. So let's get to the 2 releases on Wednesday first, the 13th. Those releases are Happy Death Day to You, and Isn't It Romantic? Isn't It Romantic's the biggest release. It's a comedy from Warner Brothers New Line, opening over 3,300 theaters. PG-13, starring Rebel Wilson, Liam Hemsworth. Again, Rebel's got a big female following. Obviously, Liam Hemsworth does too. So you figure this will get, and this is a Valentine's Day movie. Remember, every Valentine's Day you see this. You usually see comedy, sometimes horror, and then obviously action. You have your movies that appeal to males, and you have your movies that appeal to females because they like to piggyback on each other. Sometimes people do this on Valentine's. They go, oh, I'm going to see what you want to see, honey, and then we'll go see what you want to see. So, that's why they do that. So you have your comedy, and it's romantic, and that's opening in more theaters than any of the other films other than Alita, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then the next movie you have is Happy Death Day 2, a horror film for Universal, opening in 3,000 theaters. A largely unknown cast. The first one did pretty good numbers. This is only a $9 million budget, and it's PG-13, so it's accessible. So, again, I don't expect a lot from it. Maybe 10, 11, 12 million. That might be pushing it. It'll probably at least make its budget back, even though it's in 3,000 theaters. Because now see what you have to decide is, will this movie get the male audience and then the carryover piggyback effect from Isn't It Romantic? Because that probably be the bigger movie. Or will it be Alita, the Battle Angels, opening on Thursday? I would think Alita would be the one because it's a bigger blockbuster movie and has a better, it's a more known commodity. Well, not more known commodity, but it's got a better cast, and James Cameron's attached to it, and so on and so forth. So, and it's an action film. And again, I don't know how many people were clamoring for Happy Death Day 2. So I think you have to make a decision here. Which one's going to be the one that gets the benefits from Isn't It Romantic, or just gets seen? Has a better chance of getting seen. Is it Alita Battle Angel, or is it Happy Death Day? I would say it's Alita Battle Angel. It's been it's been in kind of development for a long, long time. So, and Alita Battle Angel is also in more theaters. And this film will again be opening on Thursday, because we have some opening night stuff on Wednesday. Alita Battle Angel is an action adventure film from Fox, opening in 3,700 theaters, directed by Robert Rodriguez. James Cameron's a producer on it. Again, largely unknown cast. Very high budget, and it's a James Cameron movie, so no surprise there. A lot of people think it could be one of the bigger flops of the year. I think it has a risk of that. If Isn't It Romantic does very, very well, the piggyback effect might help Alita a little bit. But if it can't get its male audience out to see it, then that's going to really hurt. And I wonder if it will. So then you got Lego movie out there, so that probably will take second. Because I don't know if Alita is a stronger enough performer to take to beat Lego next weekend. So again, your two other offerings that are going to be out there with Isn't It Romantic are not strong options. Unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Maybe Alita will do fine, but I worry about that movie, and I don't know if it's strong enough to get the male audience out to see it and to benefit from Isn't It Romantic and the piggyback effect, I like to call it. So, all right. So for Valentine's Day weekend, obviously with so many people potentially going out between Wednesday and Thursday for Valentine's Day, that could hurt some of the weekend opening numbers for some of these newer movies. So just keep that in mind. I think number one for the weekend of the 15th, Valentine's Day weekend, I'm going to say Isn't It Romantic, because I do think I'm take that back. I think Lego movie's going to take number one again, because it appeals to more people. And with Valentine's Day in the middle of the week, I think that for the weekend numbers, that could hurt the other movies. So I'm going to say Lego Movie Part 2, number one again next for Valentine's Day weekend. I'm going to say with about 30 million. Because even if it drops 50%, I'll take it to that, around there, maybe even a little higher. Isn't It Romantic? I'm going to go with in second. We're going to go with 20. I'll go about 20 to 25 million. Let's go Alita around 15 to 16 million, which would be very low for that movie. But again, I don't think it's going to take off. So I'll go with Happy Death Day to You. I'm going to go around 10 million, 9, 10 million. Cold Pursuit will go for around 7.5, 8. That movie could benefit from the piggyback effect, because that would appeal to men, assuming enough people didn't go out to see it the first week. I'll go What Men Want, around maybe 7 million or so, 6.5, 7. The Prodigy will probably drop below 5 million. Everything else will probably be below 5 million. So that's how I see things going for Valentine's week. It's very hard more than a week out to kind of look at it, but that's my preliminary thinking. So, and since we have to do a double edition of the box office beat tonight, then that's I just have to do it that way. So, all right. So when we do this again in 2 weeks, we'll only have one new movie to talk about. That'll be How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden One. That's obviously a huge, huge release. And then after that, we head into March, and boy, that's when things really, really start to build. Not necessarily in the first week of March, but when the second week of March hits, you're going to start to see some things really start to build. And really, we'll be approaching summer fast and furiously, no pun intended. And you obviously know how big of a period that is. So things will start to really start to build back up again at the box office after a quiet few weeks this week. And get really, really interesting. So that's your box office beat for this week and also for next week here tonight. So we'll do this again in 2 weeks, and we'll obviously have a lot to talk about then. And that's all the entertainment stuff we're going to cover. I think that's all we really had to cover. Nothing else was, mentioned. Oh, well, the TCA stuff. Let me just do this real quick. There are a couple of things from the TCA. Again, there wasn't as much as I thought. There was going to be a couple of things from the TCA that I thought were interesting. I was doing some early renewals. Some cancellation, but nothing earth-shattering from that angle. Some things were interesting. Obviously, if you're a Shameless fan, what Showtime did was, not shocking renewing it, but to see Cameron Monaghan go back as Ian Gallagher was a big surprise. If you read between the lines, it sounds like he got a big raise. It also sounds like they panicked because you were losing both him and Emmy Rossum in the same year, and they just couldn't do that. The more you think about it, the more you realize, and given how long they waited to renew it, because Shameless was usually a quick renewal. Either if season 10 is not the last season, 11 is going to be, because obviously you obviously have Bill Macy on record saying that he signed on for 2 more. Maybe they say, you know what, we'll do season 10, and then see if in season 10 they kind of build us to the last season in season 11. That's either way, you're coming to the end of this run. A couple months ago they acted like they can tell years and years of story, but I think they realize they can't. I think the fans have told them they can't. And if they want to continue the Shameless story maybe in another way as a spinoff or something, they can do that. But the show on its own, as it currently is constituted, probably needs to end. So I think they've come to that deterrence. That's why I took from the Shameless part of the TCAs, the Showtime part of the TCAs. What else? to those that will be watching and listening to this later, thank you to you as well. I apologize for the technical problem, for being late tonight. Obviously, we had some problems getting on the air. We always have problems, don't we? But I also apologize for the technical problems. A couple of times we lost sound. In fact, I just noticed we did lose sound again. I had to reset it. So if at any point in this show you weren't able to hear me, I do apologize. It's with the wind and everything. It's been a rough night. So if you had any problems with that, please let me know what they were, and I do apologize for that. So this might not be the best show. Probably went in and out a lot. But it is what it is. Can't help the weather. So, but thank you for your patience and understanding with that and with the delay tonight, as always. We have a lot of delays, I know. Hopefully we won't have any on Tuesday because it's a big show. So that's it for tonight. Again, our next show will be one of our biggest of the year this coming Tuesday, February the 12th, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, now just keep in mind, this is a warning because, I mean, obviously we always run late, but that's going to give you a heads up. We probably will start late on Tuesday. So when I say 9 o'clock, it'll probably be later than 9 o'clock. Because even though we gave everybody an extra week, the film, almost an extra week, the awards committee is always behind on these things. So, you know, just be aware we'll start a little bit late on Tuesday for the awards, but just, you know, bear with us on that.